Hello and welcome to episode 48 of the Seadogs podcast. All things Scarborough Athletic FC, hosted by me, Paddy, Billington, from This Is The Coast, the local commercial radio station for the Yorkshire coast, and brought to you in association with Walker & Co, Chartered Accountants. Local people looking after local books for local businesses along the Yorkshire coast. Now, after the disappointing 2-0 home defeat to Alfreton Town, I caught up with Scarborough Athletic Chairman Trevor Bull to record a quick chat. And we were talking about a couple of different things. Firstly, Jonathan Greening, the Borough boss, hitting his 200th game in charge of the Seadogs, his 200th competitive match in charge. And the reasons why that is actually fantastic news for Scarborough as he signs a 2.5-year extension to his contract. So we'll be exploring the real positives in that. Also, we are talking about something that is actually a big issue for the club this season, and that's the amount of home games on a Saturday. Due to FA Cup runs, FA Trophy matches involving other sides, the weather, just all sorts of different reasons. Scarborough have had hardly any home Saturday afternoon matches in recent months, and it has had a big impact on the amount of people coming through the gates for several different reasons, and that in turn affects the money coming into the club. So we're focusing on the importance of getting behind the boys when they're next at home against Leamington a week on Saturday. And on top of that, we'll have a look ahead to this weekend's tough away match against Scunthorpe United.
This is the Post.
Thanks so much for listening to the Seadogs podcast. Download numbers in the thousands for every episode. It's just fantastic. And a reminder, you can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts from. We are on iTunes, on Spotify, and always at thisisthecoast.co.uk/podcasts. And why not check out our sister podcast as well from This Is The Coast, which is all about life here on the Yorkshire coast, called the Yorkshire Coast Cast. Right, shortly after the final whistle blew at the Scarborough Athletic Alfreton Town match, I caught it with Scarborough Athletic Chairman Trevor Bull. So, Trevor, firstly, Jono's hit his 200th game in charge, competitive game, and also you've announced another 2.5-year extension to his contract, which is very positive news for the club, isn't it?
Oh, it is. We were determined to keep Jono here long term, and it's that stability in the club which really helps him, because we're starting to look at players for next season, and we can't attract players if they don't know what's happening with the manager. So to give us that longevity is crucial, and he more than deserves it for what he's given us over the last 200 games, which in itself, as you say, is a great milestone.
Yeah, and of course, the fact that he is a Scarborough lad, born and bred, and with that vast experience as well, and obviously every game he's in charge, 200 now, he is learning himself all the time, isn't he?
Oh yeah, absolutely. His experience from everywhere he's played, all the coaches he's worked with, he brings it all into his job here with us, and he's turning our players into better players. Everybody loves playing for him, we love working with him, so it's a match made in heaven, you could say, and we're really looking forward to seeing where he can take us.
And this is proved to be a fairly frustrating season for different reasons. Obviously, we're not sort of knocking on the door of the playoffs this season. Yeah. And also, as well, just even the fixtures as well, due to teams progressing in the FA Trophy or FA Cup, etc. Suddenly we were behind, and now we're ahead of a lot of teams, and a lot of the Saturday home games seem to have been replaced by sort of Tuesday evening fixtures.
It's been a killer for us. I think we've gone in the last sort of 3-4 months. We've only had 3 Saturday home games, and that just has 2 impacts on us. Obviously, financially, it's a killer because we don't make as much money on a Tuesday night. But people get out of the habit of coming, so the crowd has started to drop. So it's a downward spiral from that respect. And of course, we need fans to come through the gates to give us the money to get better players to do better on the pitch. So it is a problem for us because as we keep talking about the fact we're a fan-zone football club, and we have to maximise our matchday revenue, because that's the only place the money comes from.
So the next game is Leamington at home, and whatever the result against Scunthorpe, you really want the fans to come down here, because it does make a massive difference when the atmosphere is good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does make a massive difference. We've got the trip to Scunthorpe. No one expects us to do well there, but we'll go there, give it a go, and teams have been there and won. So let's wait and see. The crucial thing for that game will be see if we get some of these injured players back, and then Leamington. That'll be another tough test. They're a good footballing side, and we've always had good matches against them. But they're having a difficult season, so anything could happen. I'm hopeful for that one.
Yeah, and obviously we've brought in a new player recently. Stephen Walker from Whitby,
yep.
And of course, in an ideal world, you'd love to be bringing in more players, wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course we would. People talk about our small squad, but we've got 22 players signed on at this present moment in time.
You wouldn't think it, would you, when you look at the bench of just 3 today?
No, we've got 22 players signed on, and we've got 6 reserves that we've been using as well. So that's like 28 players, and we could only name 3 on the bench today. So that just shows how difficult it is. The problem is that the injuries have been long-term injuries. People like Bailey Good are out for months, and we've lost Brownie today. How long is that going to be? So it's really difficult, because what some people forget is you can't just go and bring players in, because we're still playing the ones that are sat in the stand watching a match. It's not very simple.
No, well, we might have to bring our boots next time, Trevor.
I'd love to have a go.
All right, well, thanks for your time, and we'll hopefully have a good crowd for Leamington at home, and let's see what happens at Scunthorpe, eh?
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Paddy.
The
home of live Scarborough athletic coverage. This is The Coast Extra.
With Walker & Co Chartered Accountants. Local people looking after local books for local businesses on the Yorkshire coast. Visit walkerand.co.uk.
This is The Coast
Extra.
Yeah, this is The Coast Extra. Has full match commentary of every Scarborough game in the National League North season 2024-2025. And thanks to Trevor Bull for the chat after the Alfreton match. And any Seadogs fan should definitely click on the Jono Greening Hits Milestone article at scarboroughAthletic.com. It's a bit of a Q&A with the gaffer about his highlights over the last 4 years. He gets asked what has been his most memorable match, what's been his favourite league match, what's been his favourite cup match, which game you're most proud of, which was your most frustrating game, which stands out as a great team performance, the best goal celebration, the favourite away ground visited with the Seadogs, all sorts. So do check that out. It's well worth a read. Now, as we know, Scarborough lost 2-0 to Alfreton at home. Jono described them as 2 horrible goals to concede and a typical Alfreton performance, a frustrating performance for the Seadogs. Alex Brown came off injured pretty early on. There's only 3 players named on the substitutes bench on the night. Will Thornton and Cam Wilson were off poorly. Here's Jono talking to Chris Marston from Scarborough Athletic FC after the Alfreton match about the injury situation.
He was on Brownie's knock.
Yeah, Brownie felt his groin, so I think maybe just after the goal or 5 minutes after that, he came over and said he felt his groin tweak, and then he asked to come off. He said he couldn't carry on, so we had to make another change. Ideally, you don't want to put Luca at left back, but it's the only left-footed player we got, and probably the only player who can play that at the moment with all our injuries. But yeah, it's just the way our season's been going, really, with illness and injuries again. I think we had 8 out before today's game, and then obviously losing Brownie as well, so that's 9. So just to hope our luck changes.
Chris also asked Jono about this weekend's upcoming game against Scunthorpe United.
Listen, we're looking forward to the game. We had a good performance against them at home early in the season. They'll be desperate to try and do over on us because the way we played here. So it's going to be a difficult game. They're probably one of the favourites to get up, one of the biggest budgets, full-time team, nice stadium, probably get 4,500, 5,000 people. So it's a big challenge for the boys, and we've got to get a reaction from the players after today's performance, and hopefully we can go there and put a good one on.
Well, Scunthorpe have played midweek, and it was a draw at home against Curzon Ashton. And this is where Scarborough have an opportunity at the now named Attis Arena. A lot of people know it as Glanford Park in Scunthorpe on Saturday, because out of all of Scunthorpe's home games this season, they've actually drawn more than they've won. And after this week's draw midweek against Curzon Ashton, I've worked out, and my maths isn't great, that they've drawn 9 home matches so far this season in the league, winning 6 at home. It's still a pretty good record, isn't it? And it's also worth saying that a lot of those draws did come in the opening weeks of the season. Now, Scunthorpe came from a goal behind against Curzon Ashton to keep their unbeaten run going. First team manager Andy Butler was asked in his post-match interview about the result and the upcoming game against Scarborough.
1 in 14 we've lost and 1 in 3 months, so we must keep continuing what we've been good at lately. Again, it'll be tough on Saturday because Scarborough's a tough side, but we'll make sure we're focused fully on what we can do better. It will be a tough game, but again, it's a game we should be looking at thinking we can go and get maximum points.
That was the Scunthorpe United first team manager speaking after the 1-1 draw with Curzon Ashton midweek. So Scarborough away at Scunthorpe United this Saturday. Last season we took 500 or 600 fans, made a right noise as well, and there was about 4,500 fans there. It was a fantastic atmosphere. The result, not good at all, but hey, it's football, anything can happen, and I'm sure we'll give it our best shot this Saturday. In other Scarborough Athletic news, great news this week. The club have announced the extension of the loan of Jack Waldron until the end of the season. The club wants to thank Sheffield United for their cooperation in the loan extension. He has been absolutely fantastic for us, hasn't he? So that is great news. Scarborough Athletic Community Trust has received high praise from the National League Trust for the work they are doing in the community, and specifically the release of their walking football video. The Community Trust undertakes a range of activities as part of their community outreach programme, which includes recreational football for children under 11, recreational football for women, and walking football for men. Additionally, the Trust is working in a number of schools, delivering over 200 hours of free football and physical activity sessions, the majority of which benefit children with additional learning needs. The Trust also continues with monthly Saturday football sessions, the Seagulls, of course, for children and young people with a range of disabilities, which are proving to be very popular. The reserves took a trip up the coast as they faced North Riding Premier League outfit Staithes Athletic away in the semi-final of the North Riding Saturday Cup. They won 3-1 and they are in the County Cup final, so well done to them. And finally, a reminder of upcoming fixtures for the Seadogs. So we've been talking about Scunthorpe United against Scarborough this Saturday at 3 o'clock. Borough will be heading over the Humber Bridge, looking to bounce back from the defeat to Alfreton. Scunny sitting second in National League North. In their last 6 games, the Iron have won 4 and drawn 2, so they're in good form. But as we know, earlier in the season, Scarborough, they were the first team to end Scunthorpe United's unbeaten run. They'd gone 10 unbeaten in all competitions. Dom Tier's goal secured a 1-0 victory for the Seadogs. It was a fantastic performance. Now, there's a link on the Scarborough Athletic website to where you need to get your online tickets. The away end at Scunthorpe United is all seated and it is segregated, and the AMS stand has up to 1,522 seats for visiting supporters. The club want to stress that it's really important that travelling supporters do purchase their tickets in advance to avoid unnecessary delays at the ticket office. There is no cash turnstiles in operation, and it's £18 for adults, £14 for those who are 65 plus, students and 18 to 21-year-olds. Under 18s get in for £8, under 12s free, but it is more if you do pay on match day. Turnstiles open at 1:30. Then Scarborough are back at home on Saturday the 22nd of February against Leamington. As we heard from Trevor Bull, really important that Seadogs fans get behind Scarborough in these rare Saturday home matches. And then the following Tuesday we're away at Warrington Town, who currently sit bottom of National League North. And then as we head into March, Curzon Ashton against Scarborough, Saturday 1st of March. And then on Saturday, the 8th of March, it is Kidderminster Harriers against Scarborough Athletic. And don't forget, for your away day travel, you can book a spot with Valley Bar Seadogs. All the links are on the Scarborough Athletic website. Well, that's it for episode 48 of the Seadogs podcast. Safe travels to all Scarborough fans heading to Scunthorpe this weekend. Let's see if we can get a result. And don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts from. We're on Spotify, iTunes, and always at thisisthecoast.co.uk/podcasts. And the Seadogs podcast is brought to you in association with Walker & Co, Chartered Accountants, local people looking after local books for local businesses here on the Yorkshire coast.
This is the coast.